Hey guys, I came back from Vegas and I wasn't broke. Welcome to the show that puts the FU in fun. This is Wrestling with Egos, episode 29, also known as post-wedding, post-birthday edition. My name is Patrick, and as always, joined by my good friends, RJ, and the other September birthday boy, Brian. RJ, first, how you doing, brother?
I have had better weeks, but I am all right. Happy birthday to both of you within the last couple of days or so. Brian, how are you?
Gentlemen, I'm doing great. I want to be the first to send a heartfelt congratulations out to Mr. and Mrs. Rant Mode On, the newly minted Mr. and Mrs. Rant Mode On. We hope you had a fabulous time in Vegas. We did our usual yeoman's work in holding on the fort while you were gone.
Yeoman's work. You guys freaking crushed it, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
Last week was a hell of a show. I'm editing that thing going, damn, guys. Like, what the hell do you need me for?
Yeah, we were going to talk with you about that. But anyway, moving right along.
Man, we have got so much to talk about because I'll tell you what, man, I have literally hit the ground running this week because we flew in last week, got home on the 12th, had birthday, had all the craziness of the next week. Everybody in the house except me was sick. I don't know how that happened. Mrs. Rant Mode On was sick the minute we got to Vegas. But somehow I just haven't stopped because it's been a whole lot of like post-wedding, unpacking, laundry, everything else, and then a massive wrestling weekend that actually ended yesterday. So, holy crap balls, strap yourselves in, boys and girls. It's going to be a fun show. We're going to be hitting hard and hitting fast. So, as the great Harry Connick Jr. said in Independence Day, let's kick some tires and light some fires.
Yeah, man.
Always feel free to hit us up on the old Twitter machine. You can hit me up, as it says down under us. I'm at Rant Mode On. Get it? Mr. and Mrs. Rant Mode On. If you haven't been watching this show, you won't get it. If you have and you still don't get it, I'm going to pray for you. RJ can be hit up at RJ E-Man with not one, not three, but two N's. And of course, Brian is at B Krigo 15 Uno Cinco. You know what? We got Uno Cinco and Johnny Nine Fingers over here.
They're still out there. They're still out there.
That's a prosthetic, man. You're like Kerry Von Erich, except with a finger instead of a foot.
I'll take it.
Okay. Clash of Champions. Let's just start. Wait, missed some things. Email the show. We love the interaction we get from you guys. wrestlingwithegos@gmail.com. Always check out the repository where Brian, our historian, keeps record of all the homework, all the show archive, all the crazy stuff we've done. That's at bit.ly/withegos. For those of you checking us out on Anchor Podcasts, thank you guys so much. As always, make sure you're subscribing to the show. For those of you checking us out on YouTube, like, subscribe, share, all this crap. Make sure you click the bell so you get the notifications and realize when all this craziness is going on. I got a feeling now that the wedding's over, me and good Mr. RJ up there probably going to want to talk some college football coming very soon.
I would imagine so.
I hate it. By the way, for Auburn fans, this is Texas A&M Hate Week. Screw the Aggies. So much stuff going on right now. Like I said, Clash of Champions. Sorry, favorite pay-per-view name of them all. I'm a little biased. Let's just get right to it. Gentlemen, I ask you this one question. What'd you like most about Clash of Champions?
RJ, why don't you go first?
What did I like most? Probably Kofi retaining I liked most because I didn't think it was going to happen.
Neither did I.
Hoping that it would. I would probably have to go with that just for personal reasons that I really, really didn't think he was going to, and really, really, really thought that he should and wanted him to, and he did. And that's probably what I like best.
Can I go next, Brian?
Please.
Becky, Sasha. Girl. Again, leave it to some of the horsewomen to steal the damn show.
Right.
It happens so frequently. It's getting to the point where it's almost both comical and expected. By comical, I mean, like, how do we not see this coming anymore? I mean, it's like, you know, we're all baseball guys. It's like going to bat against Randy Johnson and not expecting a fastball. I mean, here it comes. The match, I honestly think that was Sasha's best match she's ever had under the WWE umbrella. I'd actually put that over her work in the match with Bayley at TakeOver Brooklyn 1, where Bayley won the NXT title. I don't think the match was better. Sasha's part in it was better. The match was damn good. You could easily consider it a match of the year candidate if there weren't so many other amazing matches that have happened this year. Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano. But so many things I liked about that match. It was just entertaining to watch. I have no complaints about it. Brian, what'd you like?
I think it would be easy for all three of us to sit here and say that we liked the final outcome of the Seth Rollins Braun Strowman affair.
We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that in a minute, but I'm going to go a direction that people might not be expecting me to go, and I'm going to go there for a purely selfish reason, if I may.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about the Bayley-Charlotte match, which on the surface, you might think I didn't like it because of how it went down. Because basically, I wrote down from my notes that I had this as a reverse squash match. Because the match was not very long. I think it might have been 4 minutes total, if that. All the offense was had by Charlotte. And then you have an Eddie Guerrero-esque move that I didn't even see coming. I had to wait for the replays to come along where Bayley is, you know, hunkered down in the corner, apparently smarting from one of Charlotte's kicks to her face, but in reality, she's taking the cover off of the bottom turnbuckle. And all it took was one, either face shove or drop toe hold or something like that.
It was a drop toe hold.
Yeah, for Charlotte to hit that turnbuckle, rear back on the ground, Bayley covers her for the 3 count, and then breaks the world land speed record in running out of the arena.
Yeah.
The purely selfish reason I'm talking about this match is I actually read, and I forget what his name is, but there's a senior wrestling writer for ESPN. I think it's Matt Wilansky, because I want to give proper credit where credit is due. I could be wrong on that. But when he was giving his rundown for Clash of Champions, he was praising the work they're doing with Bayley right now. Because what they've done is they've given her so many ways she can go with her character.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ways we thought she could go was slowly but surely inching into more credible heel territory while still maintaining on the surface, I'm still a squeaky clean babyface who's trying to do right by your kids and all this stuff. And that's one of the things that your boy has been talking about on the show the past couple of weeks. So I thought it was awesome that a national writer is actually in lockstep with what I'm thinking.
He just stole your idea.
Yeah. Matt, you can send the royalty checks to at bkrigo15 on Twitter.
Yep.
But I think I like it because on the surface I'm like, well, that was stupid. But then I thought about it more and I'm like, well, no, Bayley's like going down the staircase towards being a heel, and we can't get there in one night. There's got to be a buildup and an accumulation of tactics to make you realize she wasn't kidding, and all the while she's standing by Sasha too. So by the way she's coloring the picture in, she's doing everything she said she was going to do. There's really no, you can't really find fault with anything she's doing so far. So that was my biggest takeaway.
I completely agree with that. 1,000,000%. And I'll sum it up another way. I'm just going to say the exact same thing, but a different way that is usually echoed on this show that I know RJ and I both have used this phrase plenty of times. We always talk about heel 401, right? Bayley's going right now through heel 101. You can't get to senior level heel class until you get through the
undergraduate stuff.
Yeah, your core classes. You can't get a degree in heel without getting those prereqs.
I was going to say kind of the same thing about that. It's as small as it is, like it seems like such a small thing, and she just grabs her and throws her into the corner and pins her and runs away. It becomes bigger because of who it is, I think. Because there's such a shock factor of like, oh my God, Bayley cheated. And it's that she's turning. You can see that she's hanging with Sasha. You can see the chair shots on Charlotte and the attacks on Becky and the teaming with Sasha, and it's like you guys are saying, it's a slow building thing. She's still got the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube men. It's all coming very slowly, and then it's just the smallest little bit of a cheat. Like, it's not like Sasha came out and helped her, or she knocked the ref out and used a chair. It's just the smallest little cheat that becomes a big cheat just because it's, oh my God, Bayley cheated.
It was a tiny little weasel move, and that's the best way I can put it. It was a little weasel move, and it paid off, and she won. She grabbed the belt, and she got the bleep out of Dodge. Insert goat sound there. And that is the beginning. That is the, hey, kind of like, in heel terms, that's the gateway drug. That's where you start, and then you get into the more hardcore stuff.
Right.
But Brent, when you said that, I was like, yeah. When I saw that and just saw Bayley just bolting, I'm like, what the crap happened? I literally rewinded the pay-per-view to go, huh? And I saw it again and was like, son of a gun.
Yeah, I had to wait for the replay. I was like, why did the turnbuckle knock her out? That doesn't make any sense. And then they showed the replay and she took the thing off. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even see it.
I'm putting my hand up so I can see this for later, so I can goat sound it. First thing I said out loud was, Bayley, you little was just like, what the crap? But of course, for me, for someone that has loved those dastardly little weasel heel tactics for so long, I thought that was great. I thought that was it wasn't like a huge swerve, but it was one of those things where you're just like, oh, son of a gun.
It was definitely a pivot.
Oh, yeah.
Patrick, while I have a moment, I'd like to get your take on what RJ and I talked about last week, because we spent a good portion of last week's episode dealing with the four horsewomen and the fact that the light's been shining a little bit more intensely on those four specifically. Where do you think they're going with it? I wanted to get your take on that. Really quick. You don't have to go into deep detail or anything, but where do you think, what's the end game going to be in this iteration?
Fracture. Honestly, I think it's going to end up being for one of the two belts. I would probably guess SmackDown, because even though Raw is the flagship show, I think that $1 billion that Fox is giving WWE is going to turn SmackDown into a lot bigger cash cow than it has been in the past. Because I mean, they're advertising for SmackDown on Fox during Monday Night Raw. They're also advertising for AEW on Monday Night Raw. What the hell? But my honest opinion, I think we're kind of future booking this a little bit, but I would not be surprised that if one of the main events of WrestleMania this year is Charlotte versus Becky versus Sasha versus Bayley for one of those two titles. I think this is coming to a we all hate each other. Because let's go ahead and be honest, because this is something you guys also brought up. You brought up a certain former WWE Women's Champion, former UFC Women's Champion, who has 3 friends that are in NXT.
Yes.
My opinion, she ain't coming back.
Because the more we talked about that, I brought up that she had an injury while filming a movie, and that could be one of the things that hampers her in a comeback. And then wanting to have a family with Travis Brown. Yes. That would be the other thing that would, naturally get in the way of restarting your in-ring career.
Right. I don't think she has an in-ring career anymore. For one simple reason. Ronda Rousey had nothing left to prove when she left the UFC. She had 2 brutal knockouts to end her UFC career. But before that, she mowed through everybody. She came to WWE and within a year went from I'm learning how to do this to holy crap, she's pretty good.
Yeah.
If she would have continued, it would have been, my honest opinion, future booking Ronda Rousey if she would have stayed. And now we're looking at this 8 years from now. Ronda Rousey is to the women's division what Kurt Angle was to the men's division. Olympic wrestler, came in not knowing a wrist lock from a wristwatch, and he's one of the greatest of all time. Anyway, I don't think we're going to end up getting horsewomen versus horsewomen. I don't think it's ever going to happen because I don't think Ronda's coming back. Can't get that. What's the next best thing? The horsewomen explode. All 4 of them hate each other. Mexican standoff. It's the end of the Quentin Tarantino movie Reservoir Dogs, and all 4 dicks have got a gun pointed at somebody. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you.
Great movie. Then.
Oh, one of the best movies.
Yeah, I personally love that movie. Believe it or not my favorite Tarantino flick.
Not mine either.
What is yours?
Pulp Fiction.
Not my favorite either. Inglourious Bastards. Love it.
Fantastic movie.
Love that movie.
What didn't we like? We've talked about everything that we did like. What didn't we like about Clash of Champions?
I did not, just because of the quality of the match, I was really pissed off with the opener. I was really pissed off with Strowman and Rollins versus Rude and Ziggler because all 4 of those guys are pretty good. And I personally thought that match was garbage.
It wasn't good at all.
I was like, oh, this is brutal. And then Seth drops it pretty much clean. Okay, the last time Seth Rollins lost a match on the opening of a pay-per-view, but came out on top at the end of a pay-per-view was WrestleMania 31 when the son of a gun cashed in Money in the Bank.
Heist of the century.
Say what?
Heist of the century.
Oh, yes. Or as I sat in Brian's house, pretty much where he is right now, going, oh, that's freaking brilliant.
Oh, it was amazing.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, WrestleMania 31 made sense. How is there no miscommunication, chicanery, crossing of signals, oopsies? something.
It was too predictable. I mean, you could see where they were going with it from a mile away, and I'm usually not good at picking up on stuff like that, but even I could tell that Rudolph, as it were, is going to win this match.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I
How about
mean,
Rudolph? And I remembered RJ coined that phrase. But I knew that was going to be the case too, because I'm like, okay, you know, we're going to have to do something with this because this isn't going to last long, especially if they're going to be facing each other later tonight. I mean,
and
you saw
truth be
that.
told, the final sequence was my favorite part of the match. You know, like the last like 2 or 3 moves that got Braun out of the ring so that Seth could take the pin or whatever. That was my favorite part of the match. And it was just so very predictable the way they got there that.
That's why I hated it. It was predictable. I mean, my whole thing is something like that. You should have used that to build more tension and hostility toward the main event. So, for example, if we're going to have Rollins take the pin, which that makes more sense than Braun Strowman taking the pin, Braun needs to get involved and take a swing at either Ziggler or Rude and miss and catch Rollins. Then they find a way to dump Strowman out of the ring, get the quick 1, 2, 3, and then backstage you have both guys in a pull apart, kind of like you had at the end of NXT. Did we lose RJ?
It appears we might have, so we'll just keep going until he jumps back in, I guess.
Get him back. All right,
yeah.
Whatever. I hated it. I hated. There's RJ.
Hey, welcome back. We were just talking about how much we hated you.
My tablet decided that it was going to update Skype right now.
Oh, that's not cool. We're talking wrestling here, sir.
Yeah.
To buy Microsoft. Putting FU in FU. Wait, putting the FU in function. There you go. I like that. Bill Gates, call me. There's nothing about the opener I liked. I just like it's predictable. The ending was stupid because, again, I don't know how much of the end of my little tirade you heard, RJ, but my beef is the fact, real quick, that the end of the Raw Tag Team title match did not do anything to build up the main event even more. Why wasn't there any miscommunication? Braun taking a swing at one of the members of Rudolph, missing, knocking Rollins clean into next Tuesday, and them dumping Braun out of the ring, getting the quick 1, 2, 3. You go backstage, and there's a massive pull apart like we had at the end of NXT last night.
While I agree with that, I also kind of see how they could think that the end of that match would build the main event a little bit, only because it creates an air of vulnerability around Seth Rollins. He just got beat up. He already got pinned. I know, to me, I look at that and I say, oh, well, he just lost clean in this match. There's no freaking way he loses clean in the other match.
Right.
But it's supposed to be the exact opposite. I'm supposed to look at it and be like, wow, Seth Rollins is vulnerable. Braun might actually beat him. And that's what I think they were going for.
Right. I don't think it played off. All right. Before we get out of Clash of Champions, let's talk about that thing we put off to the last minute. The real conclusion of the Universal Championship match with Rollins and Strowman. Rollins beats Strowman clean with about 15,000 stomps, and he's celebrating, and here comes the Fiend.
Yay.
I was happy about that. I thought it was cool. The next night was even cooler.
Yeah, because you can't talk about one without the other, because you have the Fiend and Bray Wyatt as a huge presence running all the way through Monday Night Raw.
Presence. It was a 3-hour long Firefly Funhouse.
Yeah. Full disclosure, that is what I have heard. I did not see that, I planned on watching Raw on Tuesday night and then spent the entire night in the emergency room. I didn't watch it Monday because I was watching my Browns destroy the Jets, or like it's a high school football team disguised as the Jets, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I haven't. I know what happened. I have not seen it.
There were probably a good 6 or 7 Firefly Funhouse vignettes. It was amazing. And I have to be honest, creepiest ending to a Monday Night Raw I have seen in a long damn time. That was just, I'm like, I mean, Mrs. Rant Mode On is sitting on her spot on the couch going, that's the crap nightmares are made of. I'm like, yep. She's like, I don't know if I like this anymore. I'm like, I love it.
And kudos to Seth for selling the way he was selling too.
Okay, so first, Clash of Champions ends at the top of the ramp. Rollins is celebrating. Lights go out. Strobes come back on, and the Fiend has him in position for Sister Abigail. Hits it, lights. They go back off. There's no laughter. Lights come back on. He's got Seth by the hair, holding his hair up here. Seth is sitting down, of course. And then from, Bray standing, Seth's here, mandible claw. And then after that, lights go out again, laughter, show. Scene. Cut, print, kill the pig, as Krusty the Clown once said.
Yeah.
So 6 different vignettes. Bray wants to make a new friend, and he puts the mandible claw on Kane. With Rollins in the ring, and he doesn't touch Rollins. He just crawls across the ring, and Rollins is laying there with his head against the bottom turnbuckle as the Fiend just gets closer and closer. It's like one of the Alien movies where the xenomorph is right in Sigourney Weaver's face. And I'm like, oh, crap. I marked out for that quietly. But inside, I'm just going, holy bleep, holy bleep, holy bleep, holy bleep, holy bleep. There are not enough goat sounds on my computer to verbally articulate what was going through my head Monday night.
It was mucho intense.
Woo! Mucho beautiful too. I do not know if anyone I don't know who backstage is writing the story arc for in-ring Bray. Obviously, the vignettes are all a Bray Wyatt production. He is running that show. But whoever is steering the ship on the actual creative, they ain't getting paid enough. Even if it's Paul Heyman, I don't care. Not getting paid enough. Because I can't believe I'm about to say this about something on Monday Night Raw. And I'm knocking on wood because I hope I'm not going to be the kiss of death on this. They haven't done anything wrong. Not with Bray. RJ, you just kind of exhaled.
No, I always expect that they're going to mess it up eventually.
Oh, yeah. Because it's the brainchild of Vince McMahon. That's good crap, pal.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. It has been perfect so far. Like I said, I haven't seen Monday yet, but I saw tons of pictures and heard everything that happened, and it's been everything I've seen and heard has been absolutely fantastic and perfect. From the beginning of the first time the Fireflies Funhouse popped up and we all said, "What the hell is this?" all the way until now, I don't think there's been one single misstep. I do consistently wait for it to happen, and it hasn't, and I'm happy about that. But that's what the sigh was about. I just consistently wait for them to mess it up.
Waiting for the other shoe to drop. I mean, God, And within the first 30 seconds, I thought the episode with the Muscle Man dance, I thought that was going to be it. And I'm like, no, this is actually pretty awesome.
Yeah.
This is just absurd and creepy enough to work.
So weird at first.
Oh, I know.
It's been, but if it hadn't been so weird and out of left field, it's not as perfect as it is now. So.
Right, Brian.
So I know what the two of you are thinking. The two of you were wondering our pre-show before we started recording, what the format for tonight would be. And you're like, well, we don't have a format. And I held up all this. And you saw this big, long paragraph. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, geez, the intellectual savior of the wrestling masses must have something to get off his chest tonight. And I do. Ladies and gentlemen out there in Wrestling with Egos land.
Do I need to cue up some sound effects?
No, well, you can. I'm not going to go rant mode on, but I'm going to air some frustrations. Okay?
No, do me a favor, because I have to be honest. I took a lot of pictures while Mrs. Rant Mode On and I were in Vegas, and I might have gotten some new stuff to do with that segment, and I kind of want to do it.
Okay.
So,
okay.
How about you, your boy, and let me throw my new ish out there and do the segment.
That's fine. You know what I'm going to do then? You called out the thunder. Your boy's going rant mode on. Okay, and I'm pointing at the screen so you know where to put all your new ish, as you so eloquently put it. Because lost in the shuffle of the 33 Bray Wyatt vignettes that we had, and this person, and we have Baron Corbin, Wrestling King of the Ring, and all this other stuff, which we'll get to in a minute. A certain superstar came back on Monday. And this is a guy that all three of us at various points in our talking about wrestling careers have been championing. Why don't they use him better? Why don't they use him better? And he came back. How did you bring Rusev back? What's your big plan? What did your crack staff come up with there? He's the father of Maria Kanellis' kid? No, he's not. Okay, Rusev is a super athlete. Super athlete, in case you haven't noticed. This dude can wrestle circles around most of the people that you have in your employ. And this big paragraph I have here is how I would have brought him back, because I would not have wasted a talent like Rusev on being the father of Maria Kanellis' kid. In my mind, in my babyface 401 mind, I would think, gee, I don't know, maybe Mike Kanellis should be the father of Maria Kanellis' kid. Isn't that how that's supposed to work? Like, they're married, right? This means they're married, right? So when you have a kid with somebody else, that's the father of your kid, not Rusev. Okay? So we're gonna back up a few weeks. Okay? So back that car up a couple of weeks if we can, to when Elias had to leave the King of the Ring tournament with an ankle injury. Okay? We're sure as heck fire not going to put Shane McMahon in that spot, because I can use my talent, my actual wrestling talent, better than you people can. Have the ring announcer announce Chad Gable as normal. Chad Gable comes out and he's like, I wonder who I'm going to face today. And the announcer says, as you know, Elias is out of the tournament due to an ankle injury, but we do have a replacement. And then bang, Rusev's music hits. And Gable's in the ring selling it. Rusev comes out with a microphone and says, the quality of this tournament just went up a notch because Rusev, the super athlete, is here. You'll notice Lana's not here, and the reason for that is it's all about wrestling. There's no more shenanigans. I'm just here to wrestle. And they go and they have a tear the house down match over the course of 3 commercial breaks. Because Gable can go, we all know this. So can Rusev. Imagine what the two of them could do together in a match. After 2 failed attempts at the accolade, Rusev finally gets the accolade on Gable, and he passes out. Doesn't tap out, but he actually passes out because of the accolade and because of the fact that it's been such a long match, which now gives us a heel versus heel final with Rusev versus Corbin. Again, I'm breaking all your rules. I don't care. I don't want babyface versus heel, babyface versus heel, babyface versus heel. We're going to break the mold here. Okay. And now, given Corbin's improved work rate over the past several weeks, you know that he can go. And Rusev's going to get the best out of him. And the finals would not take place on Monday Night Raw. I can bump a couple matches off the Clash of Champions card, and we can have that match at Clash of Champions where more eyeballs are going to be on it.
That's not true. Eyeballs are on Raw.
Well, I mean, you've got the network subscribers. You still got pay-per-view buys here and there, I'm sure.
More eyeballs are on a cable television show than are on something on the WWE network. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But even so, you've got all this build-up. Have it take place at a pay-per-view. Rusev kicks out of a deep six and an end of days, and he wins with the new finisher. We're going to give Rusev a muscle buster. I know Joe uses it from time to time, but Rusev needs some dimension to his character. He wins with a muscle buster finisher. You've made certifiable stars out of Gable and Corbin because of all they've already done, but it's Rusev who gets the rocket strapped to him. We're finally going to use him properly. Rant mode off.
Not bad. I agree with some things. I disagree with others. I wouldn't have used Rusev there. I would have used Rusev in a way of literally just running a roughshod over everybody. Let's say we have a pull apart in the ring, and then Rusev's music hits. He comes out by himself just like he did, and he annihilates everyone. Do I think that they should have done this whole... First off, the whole thing with Maria being a psycho witch while pregnant and putting Mike through everything, it's cringy. It's very cringy. This is more cringy than WWE exploiting Seth and Becky's relationship. No joke. I hate everything about this. Go ahead.
Is it as cringy as Katie Vick?
No.
No. God,
Okay.
no.
Just checking. I just want to see where we were on that scale, but you know.
Katie Vick, I gotta stay in frame here. Katie Vick, this is about as high as it goes. And yeah.
Okay. Just for reference's sake.
Yeah. If the Katie Vick thing is a 100, this is an 80 and 75. 75.
Okay, that's fair.
This is cringy, but it's not like
It's not like I need to go away.
yeah. No, I did go away on that one. I'm like, and it's like that SpongeBob meme that's going on right now. I'm gonna head out. Yeah, I'm just like, nope.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, no.
For anybody that doesn't know,
I wasn't even going to bother. Let's not even Standards and practice is called. We're not going to explain it.
RJ, 2 words for you. Stand down. Moving right along. Here's my thing, and this is why, and be a typical guy here. And yeah, happily married, being a little misogynistic here, playfully, by the way. I not being totally serious. Why would Rusev downgrade? Why would he get Maria Kanellis pregnant when he's married to Lana? Lana? Don't get me wrong. Maria Kanellis is beautiful. She ain't Lana. She ain't Lana. Enough said. Yeah. Hashtag downgrade.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
So that's another thing. I'm like, And at the same time, why Ricochet? Why him? His girlfriend's prettier. So I'm just like, come on. Why couldn't it have been Heath Slater?
Yeah. Right, because he's already got kids.
Oh yeah. And he needs this job. Yeah. I do agree though. I hate the way they brought Rusev back. I thought it was terrible. There's so much more that can be done with him. anything else we want to talk about from Raw? We talked about Bray Wyatt. We talked about that dumpster fire.
Those were the highlights that I wanted to hit, unless I'm forgetting something.
I don't think we are.
Okay.
You know what? There's one thing I do want to talk about. You did allude to it, and I told you guys I wanted to talk about this during pre-show warm-up. I got to do this. I got to eat some crow. I don't want to say this, guys. I do not want to have to say this.
Well, after that build-up, you've left yourself no choice, sir.
Oh, I'm going to. I can't believe I got to do this.
Speaking the microphone.
I'm a fan of Baron Corbin. I'm becoming a fan of Baron Corbin because we've talked about this for weeks. You guys talked about this at great length last week, and I thought your points were brilliant.
RJ, you owe me $20.
Yeah. I'm watching King of the Ring final. I watched the coronation on SmackDown, and I'm like, okay, I used to think you were a son of a... You still are. But now, you're my kind of son of a bitch. I'm like, he was so... It seemed like especially like the general manager stuff, and like the interim GM stuff, and retiring Kurt Angle, and all of that after he shaved his head and went all Applebee's server on everybody. Shout out to everybody that works at Applebee's, including my son. It was forced. It was as force-fed as Test. And Test was it was that kind of heat. Like, I don't like him because you're force feeding. It's not like Roman force feeding you, because Roman's actually good. And that's why I hated Corbin, because his promos sucked. His in-ring work was aight, but there wasn't anything hateable about him. That's why I love The Miz so much. When Miz is a heel, I want to pay my hard-earned money to see someone put their fist through his face. And that's the mark of a good heel. As I have said on this show a million times, I now want to pay my hard-earned money to see Baron Corbin get his ass beat. Like, he is becoming that kind of an SOB. I'm like, and I'm watching King of the Ring thinking, damn it. Like, he's got me.
And that match.
When I realized it?
What?
During the semifinal, I said 4 different times, oh man, I can't stand Baron Corbin, but I really love this move. On 4 separate occasions. And then I was like, man, maybe I just like him. Like, maybe I'm just coming around on Baron Corbin. Like, because my main thing was always when I first started, like when he first showed up in NXT and I first started seeing him, he came out as the lone wolf and he still had that stringy hair and the vest that he always wore, and he was trying to be like big bad biker guy almost.
Yeah,
and he was the lone wolf.
The entrance,
right.
It was kind of cool.
Never bought it. I was just like, they were presenting me with, this is what this guy is. And I was like, no, he's not. Come on, give me a break. I never bought it ever. And it's gotten to the point now where you don't really have a choice. He's become very, very good.
And that match, the actual final between him and Gable, was outstanding.
Yeah,
I mean, because there was at least 4 times where it looked like Gable was going to get the win. There were submissions, and there was, pinning combinations, and there were move sets, and there were, but then I'm like, God damn it, Corbin's going to win.
Yeah.
And
the first off, the transition into the end of days for the finish was just like, oh my God. And he's done that before. He did that in NXT during the Dusty Rhodes Classic one year. It was him and somebody else. I can't remember his tag team partner against American.
The other day, I can't remember.
Yeah,
I just saw it the other day.
Yeah, but he's done it before. But it's just so buttery smooth. And RJ, I'm kind of like you, but during the final, I'm watching him and I'm like, oh man, I'm like, I can't stand this guy. Man, that was slick. There's just nothing about him. That was nice. And I'm just watching him like, damn it. And I can't believe I'm going to say this. He is quickly becoming this generation's Miz.
Give him a couple more years, I could see that.
Miz, as it stands right now, he's going that direction. He's trending that direction. When they both started, hot garbage. I mean, there wasn't anything about them redeeming. Promos sucked. In-ring work sucked. And then they turned the corner. And, with The Miz, I can't believe I like this guy as a heel. I can't believe I like this guy. Wow, I like this guy as a heel. Same thing with Corbin. I'm now to the point where I'm like, okay. You got me. And it's very begrudging, but I have no problem admitting it because I don't want to admit it because of how much I bashed him for years and throughout the history of this show. But yeah, I'm just like, well, crap. Any final thoughts on that before we move into SmackDown, which won't really take that long?
No, I have nothing further, Your Honor.
RJ, you want to talk about the big thing that happened on SmackDown? Even though you didn't watch it, I'm sure you know what it is.
I don't specifically know what you're talking about.
All right, Ryan, you want to talk about that big thing that happened on SmackDown?
Well, I'm curious to see what big thing you're talking about, because I think the three things of note is the fact that Kevin Owens is sort of still there and sort of not. That's one of them. The fact that Luke Harper is back helping Rowan in a Bludgeon Brothers Jace. But the big thing is we have a bearded Brock Lesnar who's back and has been announced as the opponent for Kofi Kingston on the first live episode of SmackDown when they moved to Fox. And I don't know how I feel about that. Because let's all line up now and give our tithes to the altar of Brock Lesnar, and I don't.
First off,
I get that he's box office. I get that he puts eyes on the product, and I get all that. But again, I'm not going to sit here and rattle off the litany of guys who deserve that spot. I think a bit more than he does because I do it every week, it seems.
Oh yeah, but here's the thing. I also know from previous experience watching WWE product that Brock Lesnar and Kofi Kingston can have a very good match. They had it. They had a match on a network special in Japan when Balor defended the NXT title against KO, and that's when New Day was still heel, and Lesnar and Kofi had a good match, even though it was a lot of Lesnar throwing Kofi around like a ragdoll, but still had a very good match. Lesnar sold for Kofi, which we've discussed on this show. He doesn't sell for everybody, but he sold for Kofi. I'm not 100% sure as to what direction they're going. And here's why. They just proved on two separate occasions that a guy that size can beat Lesnar. A guy with that kind of athleticism. A guy that just does not stop can beat Lesnar. Speed kills. Kofi is that guy. It's that same type of skill set. Maybe not as frenetic of a pace as Rollins, but same kind of skill set. It would not surprise me. I don't think it's going to happen, but it would not surprise me if they give Kofi this win to further the legacy of his title reign, to make it more than just a quote unquote lifetime achievement award.
True.
Because a lot of people still believe that Kofi's title run that he's had since WrestleMania is just that lifetime achievement award.
Despite the guys he's beaten, Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton.
Right.
Somebody else was in there.
I
don't remember. I mean, he hasn't been wrestling slouches for it. I mean, he's been putting it up against.
I'm not saying that, but getting the run that he got, a lot of people are viewing it kind of as, a lot of people can view it as lifetime achievement. Let's give him the Oscar, even though his movie sucked. Could have given the Oscar to Leo for 1,000 different movies, but no, we're going to give it to him for the Revenant. Don't get me wrong, Revenant was good, but there's 1,000 other movies Leo did that was better than that.
The Departed.
How the hell did he not win for The Departed?
The Departed. The Departed.
Moving right along. RJ, what are your thoughts now that you actually know what the hell we're talking about?
It really feels like Fox putting the championship on Brock Lesnar, but I really hope that's not what it is. That's what it feels like. I think if Kofi does win, I don't think that it happens in the same way that Seth was able to just beat him. I think that it's heel-like tactics involving the New Day that would have him win. It really feels like Kofi, Fox putting the belt on Lesnar.
Right. So you're saying if Kofi wouldn't necessarily win, Kofi would survive.
Yeah, right. With help from Woods and E.
I'm with that. Anything else on SmackDown before we get to Wednesday night?
No, let's move on to Wednesday because I'm very happy about Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Me too, damn it. For a lot of different reasons.
I'm happy about Wednesdays too.
Well, yes, I know that. We know why you're happy about Wednesdays too, RJ, but we're talking about...
RJ, this is Thursday. We're talking about last night.
We're talking about the recent past.
Not October 2nd, yesterday. Where all my trouble seems... Never mind, I'm not going to quote the Beatles. I could, but I'm not.
You could. Always can.
Oh, yeah, always can. My daughter's name is a Beatles reference. Duh. Anyway, NXT live USA Network for the first hour. Second hour was on the WWE Network. We'll start it with one simple thing. The prophecy has been fulfilled. Your winner and your new North American champion, Roderick Strong. Not surprised in the least little bit. I have a reason why. But first off, I loved it. First off, the match was killer.
Yes.
Oh, good God. Velveteen Dream. Patrick Clark. Mark it down. 3 years. 3 years from now, he will be the man.
I can see that happening.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. He has
charisma for days, silky smooth in the ring, and he will sell like nobody's business. He's not just out there for himself. He was, putting one over on Roderick at the beginning, but as the match wore on and Roderick was putting his moves in, Dream was selling like there was no tomorrow.
Oh my God.
Dude gets it.
As far as can't miss people, in the, like young people in the business overall, not just WWE, AEW, New Japan, AAA. I honestly might say Velveteen Dream is the most can't miss guy.
He's pretty can't miss.
It's just like, I mean, he's not even 25 yet, and he's this good. I love everything about him. And he had yet another great match with a guy who proved himself for years in the indies. That sounds like about just about every takeover match he's had in the last little bit. Had matches with Pete Dunne, had matches with Matt Riddle, had that match when he fought for the title against Ciampa. He's not fighting, or he's not getting in the ring with the other homegrown NXT stars. He's getting in the ring and holding his own with guys that have a massive amount of seasoning from the independents. So it's just like, good God. Ricochet, he had a great match with him, but it's kind of, had a great match with Gargano when he beat him for the North American title.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. I loved everything about the match, including the Undisputed Era getting involved. Because you know what it reminded me of? When we talked about Roderick Strong winning the title, Brian did that number. But you know what it reminded me of? Tully, Arn, and Ole coming to the ring to help Nate. Or Tully, or Arn, Ole, and Nate coming to the ring to help Tully. And
or spin it forward, when Batista would do the same thing, with Randy Orton and Nate to help Triple H in Evolution. Yeah.
But I'm not going to mention Evolution. I'd really mention the Horsemen because, as I've said a million times, without the Horsemen, the damn sure ain't any of these other factions. Oh, gee. So awesome in that. But as much as I enjoyed that, go ahead, Brian.
How about the fatal four-way women's match to kick off the show? Number one contender match.
That's exactly where I was going. Okay. As much, obviously we're in an era in wrestling where, and RJ, please chime in on this because I know you're as big of a proponent as I am on this. We're in an era in wrestling where women's wrestling is becoming a legit deal.
Absolutely.
Women's wrestling is cool. No, women's wrestling is as badass as the men because in a lot of promotions you have intergender matches. And they're amazing. You opened NXT on the USA Network. The first thing we're throwing out there, we're going to throw out Candice LeRae, Io Shirai, Mia Yim, and Bianca Belair. And the winner gets Shayna Baszler in 2 weeks. And those four, first off, the one thing I love, I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but as they're coming down to the ring, Nigel McGuinness had something to say about all four of them that set them apart from everybody else. And they let Nigel do it, not Morrow or not Beth Phoenix. Where Io Shirai is the genius of the sky, some of them, lethal kicks and aerial assault that can come out of nowhere, blah, 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 blah. Bianca Belair, probably the most pure woman's athlete in NXT, bar none. Powerhouse, blah, 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 blah. Mia Yim, seasoned, veteran. I can't remember what else he said about Mia Yim. Candice LeRae, quite possibly the toughest human being on the NXT roster.
So now what you're doing is you're picking from those descriptions. You're like, okay, who am I going to root for now? You know, if I like the technical aspect of it, I'm going to pick one person. If I like, the powerhouse, I might go another way. You know, you're giving me, if I've never seen this product before, okay, now I know who to root for.
Exactly. And all four of them showcased their abilities to the nth degree. You saw Mia's mat technique. You saw Io Shirai's moonsault. Sorry to all the quote unquote Charlotte apologists. Io Shirai has the best moonsault in the business. I'm sorry. At me. Rant mode on. Bianca Belair threw all three of those girls around the ring like they weighed nothing. And Candice LeRae does what she does best. She takes a beating and she hands one out. Candice LeRae is just a bad chick. A bad chick that's really freaking cute.
Yeah.
That's just all there is to it. She's absolutely adorable. She looks like the girl next door. But you realize, oh my God, this girl can get her ass kicked and get up.
And then I also love too, after the match is over and she walked up the ramp, you had Shayna and Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir coming out. No touching.
Nope. Stare
Didn't
down.
need to though. I mean,
No.
they let Candice LeRae know, okay, congratulations, but now you've got Shayna to deal with, and by comparison, you've got us to deal with too.
Yeah. They let it breathe, and I loved it. RJ, your thoughts on that?
I'm just really super over the moon that Candice won.
Well, of course, you've got a little personal connection to that.
It's about time. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I mean, she needs to be in the title picture. She needs to be in the title picture for a lengthy amount of time. I don't know if she necessarily needs to beat Shayna. I'm a big fan of the extended title reign that we have going on with Shayna Baszler. I think the aura of unbeatableness around her is pretty fantastic. I think I just love that the next person is Candice. It's about freaking time that it's Candice.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I love Candice, but I think the person that needs to beat Shayna is someone that can scare Shayna. Not because Candice is good, Mia Yim is good, Io Shirai is good, Bianca's good. All these other women are good. You need someone that can come in and you can take a look at her and go, yeah, that's a threat to Shayna. And I'm sorry, there's one person that I think is that threat. Rhea Ripley.
That was the person that I thought of first. Yeah.
I love her in-ring work, and she's vicious. And I think that's the person where you go, oh, where Shayna, not where the fans, where Shayna can have Marina and Harrison. Say what?
A moment of pause, if you will.
Yeah, where the three of them can step up to Rhea Ripley. Rhea can smack them all down, and then they all retreat up the ramp and go, "Oh crap!" Like, this isn't going to be as easy as we thought. But I agree with you as well. I am so pumped that Candice is finally getting her shot. Like I said, I know you have personal reasons behind that because you're friends with them. Yeah, but say they're your people. But I'm really pumped about that. The only thing I didn't like about NXT was the fact that we had to switch over to the network to catch the second hour. I thought that was kind of dumb, especially when it's going to be 2 full hours starting October 2nd.
Yeah, the Lovebird even asked me about that because I had forgotten to set it up to DVR it because I had to work and I knew I would be watching it later on in the evening. So I texted the Lovebird and I said, "Hey, would you please do me a favor and record NXT?" And I gave her the channel and I said it was going to be from 8 to 10 p.m. And tonight, before we were coming on, she said, "You know, it was only an hour, right? Did you know about that?" And I said, "Yeah, the second hour was actually on the network." She goes, "I recorded the show after just in case you made a mistake, but that's the Lovebird. She's always looking out for you, boy."
Oh, yeah.
Um, so I thought that was a little bit clunky. And then I guess now I didn't actually watch the second hour. I only read about it because I had other things going on. I guess there were some technical difficulties that precluded some people from watching it and things like that. So
A lot of people had trouble signing in. A lot of people apparently what happened, and this happened to me as well. You have the network on your smart TVs or whatever. Your login info is saved. That way, you just hit the network. You're on. You're watching. Apparently, they hit the reset button, and everybody's login info got kicked. So you had to re-log in. And a lot of people kept having trouble getting back onto the network. I was not one of those, luckily. I was able to get right back on in literally one attempt. But I saw where a lot of people had tried a dozen times and still hadn't got on. And that sucked. Because the second half was pretty damn good too. And you know what I loved about that? Two things. And I'll get what I think the lesser one out of the way first. Imperium. They all showed up, including Walter. And it looks like we're going to be getting Walter versus Kushida. Yes, please. Shut up and take my money.
Yep.
Loved it. Loved the whole setup. Loved the fact that Imperium was there. Mrs. Rant Mode On's getting ready to go to bed, and she sees these three guys come out in their black and white tracks, and she's like, "Who the hell is that?" I went, "Oh my God, that's Imperium." She went, "Who the hell's that?" I'm like, NXT UK. She went, "Okay, the name sounds familiar." And then Brian, you've been in my house. She's in the kitchen, and New World Overture starts playing, and she goes, "Oh crap, it's Walter's guys." Like, yep. She's like, "Okay, you're happy." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm very happy." But the setup with Kushida, yeah, this is gonna be good. But that paled in comparison to one thing. Lio Rush is back.
Yay.
First off, I love Lio Rush. I loved him in the ring. Now, when he's Bobby Lashley's mouthpiece, God, no.
I loved that.
Say what?
I loved that. I thought it was phenomenal.
He did his job. I just antiquate Lio Rush being Lashley's mouthpiece as Lashley flexing his ass cheeks. And I am not here.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
Yeah, Lio Rush singing the praises of Bobby Lashley flexing his ass.
Yeah.
It's not like Paul Heyman going, "Brock Lesnar." They're not the same.
No.
But Lio Rush, Oni Lorcan. Damn, what a match. Damn, what a match. I thought it was great. Lio Rush gets the win. He's now the number one contender to the Cruiserweight title. But I love it more because Lio Rush, like a lot of athletes and a couple of other people, very much associated with WWE, he's a mental health advocate. He's over the summer, he went through some crap, and kind of lost it for a little bit. So I'm glad he got his life straightened out. I'm glad he got out of that black hole. Been there, sucks ass. Anytime we get onto this topic, I wrap it up quickly by saying, you ever get into that, talk to somebody. grab one of your friends, grab kids. If you're watching this, grab a parent, grab a teacher, adults, grab one of your boys, grab one of your girls, because nobody gets out of this alone. And I got to be honest, there's a guy on this show that's sitting in front of a brick wall that helped me. So I wasn't hanging out with RJ then, dumbass.
I know that. I'm just and I'm happy to be here for you, sir.
I know. But I always give you and I always give our friend Braylon so much credit because you guys helped me. And whoever helped Lionel Green, Leo Rush, thank you. Because as someone who's been there, I'm swearing here, guys. Hand up, that way I can catch it. That sucks.
And in a related news item, I just realized there's a brick wall behind me, guys. I mean, this is big stuff here. But I might be burying the lead on that one. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Can I get a Captain and Coke, please? Oh my God! Sometimes, Brian, I swear to God, sometimes on this show, there needs to be a 2-drink minimum to deal with you. Then again, sometimes there needs to be a 3-drink minimum to deal with you. So before we get to our final segment of the night, so yeah, Vegas was awesome. Won money. I like one funny little thing because we're all football fans here. So Saturday morning went to the sports book at Luxor because I just decided I was going to be lazy and not go to Caesars and do it. Although Caesars sports book was just gorgeous. Oh my God. And RJ, you were not kidding about that bar at the Cosmopolitan.
Yeah.
That was the chandelier. That thing was stunning. We got drunk.
Gosh.
Yeah. Anyway, went to the sports book Saturday morning and put some money down on Auburn to cover against Tulane, 17-point favorite. And of course, being the fact that it's Auburn, they had to shave more years off my life. Won by 18. Like, why do we always have to cut these damn things so close? So I'm like, all right, feeling good. We're going to go bet on 2 NFL games. And I'm looking at the games and I'm like, all right, who looks like it's going to be an easy win? Baltimore and Miami. Yeah, we're going to go with that one. Miami's a dumpster fire. They're going to suck. Yeah. Who else could be suspect? Titans defense isn't really all that cracked up this year. They're not really that great. The Browns have a great defensive line. All Tennessee can do is run the damn ball.
Moving right along.
Yeah, Browns are a 5.5.5 point favorite. I'm gonna put money on the Browns. Damn it. 2-1. Thanks, Cleveland.
Wow. We'll take your mind off this topic. We just got some breaking news handed across to the Wrestling with Egos news desk.
Cue the graphic.
Oh, breaking news. It's okay. I have just been informed by the crack staff here at Wrestling with Egos that next week we will bring you the next chapter in our continuing saga of who is the greatest of all time. And we will be talking about one Mr. AJ Styles.
Nice.
So tune in for that one. That should be a very interesting discussion about where his place rests in this greatest of all time debate.
Nice.
One more quick thing.
Don't be square. Tune into Wrestling with Egos next week.
Oh, hell yeah. Next week's going to be a great show, boys and girls. Another quick one. Turn $20 in a penny slot into 135 in 10 minutes. Use that $135 and just a little bit more cash to pay for dinner the night before we left at Everett Lagasse's Delmonico Steakhouse. Oh my God.
Good stuff.
good. You know, hey, Vince, that really is good shit, pal. All
Well,
right.
we're glad you had a great time.
There was an
I will
announcement.
take.
Go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Oh, I will take this moment to remind everybody what the homework was, because I am getting that sound in my ear that it is closing time, so we need to get that homework out there. Nice.
Yeah.
Last week, what was that?
What?
They announced the name of the show is Dynamite today.
Cool.
We've known forever, but
we've known that you broke that news about a month ago, but you know, because you said they filed for a trademark on the name or something like that. To remind everyone, our homework that we waited a week to actually unpack so that Rant Modon could get back on the show here comes from SummerSlam 1991, and this is his reparations to us for making us watch the King of the Road match. It's his favorite match of all time, and it is Mr. Perfect versus Bret the Hitman Hart for the Intercontinental Championship. And we are going to give our unvarnished reactions now. RJ, why don't you lead us off on this one?
I mean, what else do you have to say besides it's Mr. Perfect and Bret Hart, man? I mean, geez, oh man. It's just it's one of the best pure wrestling matches that I've ever watched in my life. I'm gonna give it an A+. It's from beginning to end, I think it is wonderful. Bret is just I always look back at that time and I always think of, like, in my own mind, I always think of Bret Hart as a little overrated just because he wasn't always as charismatic as I thought, as other people thought he was. I didn't think he was as charismatic as other people thought he was. And charisma is a lot, even in the ring during matches, charisma is a big part of that. And
Yes.
I think that Bret and Mr. Perfect, obviously, but Kurt Hennig always oozed personality. I feel like Bret oozed personality in this match. Maybe it's a little bit of Hennig pulling it out of him, but I felt like Bret had more personality in this match than I normally notice. I thought it was fantastic all the way up to the end part when Perfect is mad and he's leaving and he just gives Bret a little bit of a kick and Bret rips his freaking ring gear off as he gets out of the ring. That's a little bit of a, just like a little FU, like as he's leaving. I thought that was a perfect add-on to everything that happened during the match. Bret got his ass kicked, man.
Oh yeah. Brian.
I watched this match again because I've always seen those images of Bret kissing the title on when he's on the belt or on the turnbuckle, and he's got Perfect singlet wrapped or draped over his shoulder. And I always wondered, like, how did that happen? Because it's been a while since I've seen this match in its entirety. So, like, 4 minutes into the match, like, he's pulling Perfect back towards the ring, and the singlet rips. And Perfect spends the rest of the match like trying to fight to keep it up and keep it on. So I actually wrote down, I wonder if it was supposed to happen like that, or if it wasn't, would that make him not so perfect? I mean, I thought you were Mr. Perfect. I thought, nothing like this happens to you. Was he working hurt here?
Yes. He had a back injury.
Okay.
And he's actually gone for a while after this.
Okay. Then that makes sense then, because
remember, we're at SummerSlam. Shortly after this, Ric Flair comes to WWE.
Okay.
Flair's coming to WWE within the next month.
And then they ease Perfect back, and they have him come out with Rick, and
right, because now you're talking, if I'm not mistaken, this leads to Hogan and Taker at Survivor Series, and then Hogan and Taker at this Tuesday in Texas, and then the Royal Rumble where Flair wins the title, and with a tear in my eye, this is the greatest moment in my life.
I think you're right. I'm going to give it an A- only because I think the coach didn't need to be there.
Our coach was annoying as crap.
I know coach was part of Perfect's, shtick at that point, but he came out and I forgot all about him. I'm like, oh, geez, this is, so, that, and then the wardrobe malfunction, as it were, those are the only reasons I downgrade it, and it's a slight downgrade to an A- for me. Still a great match. I understand why it's your favorite because of the work rate and, the move sets and everything like that, but that's where it stands for me.
You guys mentioned all the things I love about the match. It was pretty, it was a pretty consistent tempo. They didn't slow it down. A lot of great counters, technical masterpiece. My favorite thing about the match, and it's actually something that happened in the match, was Brett's counter to the sharpshooter. That's the first time we'd ever seen that, where Perfect goes to drop the leg in between his legs, where the foot kind of comes down in the midsection, and then Brett catches him, flips the legs over, and then rolls over, and he's in the sharpshooter. That was the first time we ever saw Bret Hart do that. And I remember as a kid seeing that and losing it because I'm just like, oh my gosh. I thought as a kid that was the coolest thing. And it still doesn't lose any of that this many years later, where I'm just like, yeah, that's still a moment when you're like, gotcha. We mention memes on here all the time. You ever see those video game videos where something's about to happen really horrible and it freezes and goes black and you hear that voice? It was at that moment that he realized he bleeped up.
Yeah.
Literally dropping that leg, and you see Brett's hands right here and the foot like far off his hands. You could freeze it and go, it was at that moment. It just, because as a fan, you're watching it and you're seeing Brett, who we've always, at this point, we all wanted to see Brett be the Intercontinental Champ. Brett was the guy that we really got behind. And you're watching Perfect just wear him down. He'd already hit the perfect plex and Brett kicked out, and Perfect's got him. And it's just, okay, let's just put him to bed, wear him down a little bit more, hook the perfect plex, 1, 2, 3, and let's go home. And snatching victory out of the jaws of defeat. It was a well thought out technical reversal, but at the same time, it was Bret Hart pulling the victory out of his ass.
Right.
And that's what I loved about it. It was just like, this proves, number one, Bret's smart enough to get lucky, because luck isn't just luck. Luck can also be generated by being really freaking good. And just be in. It was like, all right, it's kind of one of those lucky smart moves. We're just like, yep. And this is always an A+ for me. This is like I said when I assigned this is my second favorite thing on the WWE Network as a whole. This is my favorite wrestling match of all time. Not anything with Sting, not anything with Flair, nothing. Not even Nakamura and AJ Styles from Wrestle Kingdom. Not even Okada and Omega. I put this over Okada Omega. I'm sorry. This is my favorite thing to watch. So obviously,
Each his own.
Hey, you're exactly right, man. To each his own. And
Right.
a lot of times that we don't agree on stuff on this show, but you know what? Why there's 3 people on this show. If we just sat around here, guys, and like, oh yeah, Brian, I agree with you. RJ, I agree with you. Patrick, I agree with you. This would be a boring ass show. We're a minute and 25 into this thing this week. Yeah, nobody's watching this crap if we're all agreeing with each other.
Absolutely.
So I heard a rumor on the Wrestling with Egos Observer newsletter from Dave Meltzer, that there might be a receipt coming. Somebody on the show has some heat, and there might and this person's birthday present from one of his teammates might be a receipt instead of an actual present.
Oofa.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that rumor's true. We are going to do a it is of course my turn to assign homework this week. We are going to do a Wrestling with Egos first. Go ahead.
RJ, real quick, I love you, man. You're my favorite person on this show, not named me. Actually, no. You know what? I love you more than I love me.
I don't know that that's true.
It's on the internet. It must be true. I'm saying it, and this is going on the internet, so it must be true, RJ.
It is going to the internet.
I'm gonna see myself out.
That is the name of this week's show. I'm gonna head out.
All right, I'm gonna head out. Yep.
All right. It is a first, and I have a bad feeling I know where this is going.
So,
Go ahead.
First, a joint homework assignment, and I walked off the set. It's amazing. It's
Oh.
2 firsts in one night. How can we stand it?
we have dual homework this week. Patrick is indeed going to receive a bit of a receipt. It's not nearly as bad as the King of the Road match, but
Can you do me a favor at least? Save the bad news for last and give Brian.
all right. Okay. So Brian,
Sir. Good
your
sir.
homework is one of my favorite Kenny Omega matches.
Okay.
Your homework is from 2016. It is the G126 final. It is Hiroki Goto versus Kenny Omega. I'm not a huge Goto fan.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. G126 final.
Don't you wish you were watching this match, sir? Oh, I can't wait to see what your receipt's going to be.
The match quality of Patrick's homework is a little it's a little less than that one.
It's a bit more substandard, shall we say?
It's not quite Hiroki Goto and Kenny Omega. I might give you the show name, and you might already know. So we're gonna go back 20 years, 1999.
1999. Okay.
Unforgiven, 1999.
No.
Al Snow and the Big Boss Man faced off in a Kettle from Hell match that Patrick is going to watch this week. While Brian watches Hiroki Goto versus Kenny Omega.
You son of a bitch.
So there you go. There's the assigned homework for this week.
Okay, wait, time out. Whoa. As I'm laughing so hard, I'm crying. Because I appreciate the healness of this. It's amazing. Oh, I'm sorry. This is worse.
But is it though?
Yeah,
You know what?
Is it?
You want to know why this is worse?
No, it's not worse. There were no church vans in this match.
No, but there are Rottweilers acting.
That is true. That is true. I don't think it's worth
parcel of a receipt.
Receipt, absolutely. There's a at least this one's got a ring.
But there are dogs.
And yeah. And doing not much more other than that.
I think one took a dump at
Absolutely.
ringside.
Happened.
I
Yep.
think another peed at ringside, and another one got him some.
Absolutely. Make sure you watch the vignettes leading up to the match that tell you about why it's happening too.
Oh, you mean with Pepper?
Yeah. All the folks out there in Wrestling with Egos land, if you haven't seen it, you might want to skip that one and just watch Brian's homework.
Yeah, don't watch this. Just like I told you, don't watch King of the Road. Oh my God. Okay, so
My favorite thing from this whole angle, because I remember this whole angle.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
want to say it was at SummerSlam in Minneapolis when they had a hardcore match and it wound up, the Roving Road Dogg was doing the commentary. And they're backstage and the dude with the crutch and Boss Man takes the crutch away from him and Road Dogg goes, "Oh, bless that man's heart. He's hobbling." Just Road Dogg Jesse James and his timing, man, so good. So good. That's my favorite part of that whole thing. No gland handing, Boss Man. They already got a governor in this state.
I gotta watch the Kennel from Hell.
Yes, you do.
Receipt. Hashtag receipt.
Hashtag receipt.
Hashtag paper or plastic. Hashtag,
Oh.
Enjoy it. I'm gonna watch Brian's homework.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Happy birthday. Welcome home.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, well.
I fear I may have to wrap this one up this week, folks, because Mr. Rant Mode on over there in camera one is just, he's got that glazed over look in his eyes. And he's
myself.
Yeah, he's realizing, you need to make sure that you can handle the repercussions when you foist tripe upon your cohorts on Wrestling with Egos.
Oh, I can totally handle it.
Can you? You seem a little chagrined over there, sir.
Brian.
Patrick.
All right. Let's talk real quick before we actually start the sign off. I am a heel. RJ is a heel. You're a babyface.
Yeah.
RJ and I have a better appreciation for this, for the simple fact that we're all movie buffs here. This is the Untouchables. They put one of our guys in the hospital. We put one of their guys in the morgue.
Yeah.
That's what's just happened.
A little bit.
Yeah, this is a mob hit. I hit RJ. RJ hit back. Both of them are horrible. And you could argue that these might, I just talked about earlier my favorite wrestling match of all time and my second favorite thing on the WWE Network behind Bobby Heenan's Hall of Fame induction speech. Gold. This might be one of the two of the three worst things on the WWE Network. And I'm telling you right now, I am out because of this. I am outlawing that Chris Nowitzki, Jackie Gata versus Bradshaw and Trish Stratus match. Banned.
You never had anything to worry about from me.
Oh no, I had everything. RJ had everything to worry about from me, and I had everything to worry about from RJ. So I will watch this. I will take my punishment. I will take this receipt, and we'll call a truce.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll call a truce. At least yours had some comic relief to it. Mine is supposed to be this terrifying thing that just comes off as laughable.
Absolutely.
This is like, God, White Castle of Fear. What's the White Castle of Fear? It's a strap match. So real quick, RJ and Brian got to watch two guys fighting on the flatbed on a flatbed trailer with church buses and hay bales. I get to watch a match where there is dog crap, dog urine, and dog sex.
Oh, believe me, there was a lot of crap in the match that you made us watch.
Yeah, this is true. But I'm watching a snuff film, guys. I'm watching a snuff film. You guys just got to watch a dumpster fire of a wrestling match. RJ, you're a dick.
Well, absolutely.
And in his mind, RJ is going, and I thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, let me wrap this thing up since you got to do it last week. Oh, God, RJ, I hate you. Oh, my God. First off, we appreciate you guys so much for making our show as fun as it is. Don't hesitate to chat us up. Yes. You can hit us up on the old Twitter machine. I'm at Rant Mode On. RJ at E-Man with 2 N's. Brian is B Kriego 15. Did get the thumb in there, 15. There we go. Email address for the show for anything you guys want to talk about. wrestlingwithegos@gmail.com. Don't forget about the Google repository, bit.ly/withegos. And of course, if you're on YouTube or on Anchor Podcast, as always, thanks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, click the bell for all the notifications because you know you want to. Been a fun show. Glad to be back. Glad to be married. Glad I didn't go broke in Vegas. Woo,
Yeah.
Came back with money.
These are all good things.
Yeah, man. Came back with money. One hell of a hangover and a full stomach. That being said, we will see you guys next week for RJ, for Brian, for everybody, for our wives. Hey, I didn't say that. My name's Patrick. This has been Wrestling with Egos, and until next week, that's our story. We're sticking to it.